Hello and welcome to College Credit Coach. My name is Tammy, and at College Credit Coach, we're striving to help kids of any age earn college credit before ever taking a college course. Now, if you're not familiar with the CLEP or the DSST programs, like I mentioned, then what they are, they're tests that you can take. You can study a certain subject, go to a testing center and take those tests. And if you get a certain score, then you can earn college credit at your local universities or colleges. The Psychology CLEP test is a general education requirement at most universities. And it's not one of my favorite subjects for my kids, for me to have my kids study for, but because it's a general education requirement, I'd much rather have them study at home under my guidance and leadership and influence than go to a college and have them get fed from a teacher all kinds of worldly influences and worldly ideas. And so for our family, we even uniquely designed it so that our two oldest kids could take and study for the Psychology CLEP test at the same time. So they were doing the vocab cards together. They were doing their testing at the same time, individually, but at the same time, doing readings together. And it really helped to keep them accountable to each other and to us to not be influenced by like the worldly ideas of psychology and to keep a biblical perspective. So the Psychology CLEP test itself is 95 questions in 90 minutes. That was not a real time constraint for my kids. They were able to manage the questions and get them all completed in 90 minutes without a lot of stress. Because there are some CLEP and DSST tests that you really have to manage your time and be strategic about how long you spend on questions, but not for the Psychology CLEP test. So it is 90 questions in 90 minutes. And as far as what curriculum we use, because psychology could be a little tricky in making sure that you're studying the things you're getting and influencing your kids with are what you would want. So I started with the Introduction to Psychology, College by Credits Before College. This is the study guide, and then the accompanying book that they recommend is this Understanding Psychology. And I'll put links to both of these down in the description box. I found her information to be very, very good. This is what I would call an old type of textbook, but it's a conservative old type of textbook. Lots of graphics, charts, those kind of things, but as appropriate as you can be in psychology. Now, in the Psychology Study Guide, she does recommend, she has a list of videos that she recommends. Now, being the conservative, careful parent that I am, I viewed some of those videos and I didn't like the content. So I did not have my kids watch the recommended videos that she recommended in here. I just had them do, like, it will tell you what to read out of the psychology textbook, and then it'll tell you what vocabs to do, and then it would give you this study guide will also have questions at the end and then a test at the end. So that was great information. This study guide also has you do assigned readings in the REA CLEP study guide, and we did do those. We did do those readings. So basically you'll read this book, and this one also has like 2 practice tests in them, so you can do the practice tests in those too, and that we did do. We did not do the Modern States online. Now, if you're not familiar with Modern States, they're a platform online that you can go onto, and they'll have videos and readings and tests and quizzes that you can complete, and then once you complete all those required things for a certain topic, you can get a voucher to pay for doing your actual test, which is $97 right now. You can get a voucher for the $97 test and for the administrative fee, which can be $25 to $30. Because I wanted to be real careful about the information my kids study for psychology, I did not do Modern States. I chose to just pay for the $97 myself and the administrative fees. And another reason too is with Modern States, you can only get 8, at least right now, you can get 8 vouchers for 8 different CLEPs, and it's only CLEPs. You can get 8 vouchers for 8, you can get CLEPs for, you can get a voucher for 8 different CLEP tests. So my kids have taken or will take more than 8 tests. So I'd rather pay for the psychology and not the Psychology CLEP tests and not have to have them watch more videos and information that I'm not comfortable with. So basically we did these 2 things for the textbook and this one. I did not do the recommended videos here, and I did not do Modern States. And then the only other thing I did for us practice tests with these, and I also did the practice tests on petersons.com, but not the video. So it was only the practice test. So I was very selective in what they watched and what they read. Okay, and when you do the practice test on Peterson's, our general rule that we always go by is if you're getting at least a 60% on 2 or more of the tests, then you're ready to go and actually take the actual CLEP test at your local testing center. As far as taking the test, again, the time on it is limited to 90 minutes, but that wasn't a real hard thing for my kids to manage. The psychology test itself was pretty straightforward as far as definitions and applying, different definitions to different situations. It was pretty straightforward in that. My kids did great. They both passed. And then my thought to them was study to pass the test. Once you pass the test, forget all the information. Now, if you're a different parent and you like the psychology, that's fine. It's great. You can at least take the information that I did study and you can apply that, but that's what we did. So that's it. I would love to hear from you guys if you've taken the psychology CLEP test and what you use for curriculum, what you found on the test to be good or bad or whatever you'd like to share in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And so I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.